What is going on, everyone? How are you all doing? This is Yix here at Magnum Crypto, back again with another video. In this video, we're going to be looking at the question, is Bitcoin in a super cycle? And also we're going to break down some altcoins in the market. So stick around and let's get the show on the road. First and foremost, shout out to Jeffrey Johnson for this question. He commented on a video asking the question about my thoughts on the Bitcoin cycle. Is it a super cycle or is it a normal bull cycle? And we're going to go through this question and share my thoughts and also share my strategies. So again, shout out to Jeffrey Johnson. Great comment, great question. This is what I like to see, engagement with each other. So full disclosure, I've heard about the Bitcoin Supercycle, but I have not actually looked into it properly until Jeffrey asked this question. So I thought, obviously, I've got to research into it properly before I share my thoughts and my strategy going into this, while in this market and for the rest of this cycle. So the Bitcoin Supercycle, from what I understand and from my research, actually came from an employee at Kraken, or he's a crypto trader who now works at Kraken. He's a higher up, and he coined the super cycle about 2 years ago. And I listened to podcasts that he was in, and he said it about 2018, 2019. And let's just go over it now, and then I'll share my thoughts. So as you can see, the super cycle was described by Dan Held from Kraken, a long-time Bitcoiner, and he's got a good position at the Kraken exchange. Now, part of his hypothesis that this could be a super cycle is the fact that at the moment it is a standard cycle, but since the pandemic has happened, since the Federal Reserve and all the central banks have started to print money like there is no tomorrow, he's added these three things together and thinks this is enough fuel for this to be a super cycle. So he cites many reasons as to why this could be a super cycle. Some of these reasons being the actual players in the market are now institutions, the likes of Grayscale, Mass Mutual, MicroStrategy, Square. The list goes on, and it keeps increasing throughout the year. And of course, these guys come with heavy bags, hundreds of millions, sometimes billions. And of course, this is going to really prop up the market like it has never done before. Add to that, you have, quantitative easing, or what do they call it this time? QI, like quantitative easing infinity, something to that effect. And this does two things. One, it causes inflation, right? And also it puts money into the pockets of institutions who could invest in Bitcoin and crypto. But two, inflation makes asset prices actually go up because assets are more of a finite thing, whereas the value of money decreases. So in relation to each other, money is increasing, and then the asset prices, the amount of money is increasing, or the value, but the value is decreasing, and the value of assets is increasing as it is a finite thing. I hope I explained that properly, but yeah, I will continue. So this could definitely, in my opinion, push Bitcoin to something crazy like 1 million. Now, I'm not betting on that, but it's a possibility for sure. As I said, with this quantitative easing, with the fact that asset value increases while fiat currency decreases in value, it can definitely do that. Moving on, another thing that they mention is Bitcoin is being stored away in wallets and not moving this time around. Institutions are not day trading Bitcoin or looking to get rich quick off of initial coin offerings like in 2018, 2017. They are buying large amounts of Bitcoin as a hedge against the dollar to protect their treasury reserves. Very, very good point. and this makes a lot of sense. The reason why a lot of these institutions, as mentioned in this article, are investing in Bitcoin is because they want to fight against inflation, fight against the quantitative easing that is destroying their dollar. So, you know, they're not looking to make a quick trade off it. They're looking to hedge. As long as the QE keeps happening, you know, it's likely that they will hold on to their reserves of Bitcoin or continue to invest in Bitcoin. Again, this is a very, very good case to support the fact that this could become a super cycle. Now, you can make that the case that I just laid out, you know, with the support of the article is quite strong in my opinion. You know, especially the fact the strongest point for me is the QE combined with institutions holding it as a hedge against inflation, and those two things go together so well. It doesn't look like QE is going to stop anytime soon. If they do stop it, or you know, any mention of, you know, reduction in QE sends the investing world into panic mode, and central banks do not want, they can't afford to do that. So, you know, it's very, very hard to see them actually lowering QE. And because that is the case, then why would institutions stop holding Bitcoin as a reserve, as a hedge against inflation? So that's a really strong case in my opinion for this super cycle to be an actual thing. Now, it isn't all, there is actually a counter argument to all of that. For me, one of the biggest counters to the super cycle actually being a thing is the fact that the cycle so far has followed the previous bull cycles very, very closely, to the point where I can pretty much call corrections, or a lot of people that have been in the space for a while can call corrections pretty easily, or the amount of corrections, the magnitude of corrections pretty easily. So the fact that it's following previous cycles so well, for me, is a strong case as to why it will follow it to the downside as well. When we get to the top, you know, the fact that it's followed it so closely, why wouldn't it also go to the downside the same way it has in previous cycles? Why wouldn't it also, you know, correct 80 to 90%? Now, the thing that I think will happen, it might not correct 80 to 90%, it might correct up to 70%. But the fact that it's followed it so closely would lead me to believe that it's probably going to follow it all the way down as well. Now, of course, the bottom will most likely be a lot higher than it has in the past. Again, following the cycle, previous cycles, every bear market, every low is much higher, you know, as time goes on, as the cycles continue. So the next cycle low may be around 20,000, 30, 40,000, who knows, depending on how far Bitcoin goes. Using this article also to support the case that the cycle will repeat itself once again. This is the Bitcoin market cap to thermocap ratio chart, which has been used by quite a few people. And you can see every time this chart peaks, it's near to the end of the Bitcoin cycle. And as you can see, every peak so far has been quite steep. You can see a steep blow off top, and then, you know, massive correction. Now, so far, although we haven't gone past this dashed line, it doesn't look like this is going to be a shallow curve. It's going to be most likely a very steep curve. Again, and probably a steep correction. This leads me to believe that the blow off top, the top is going to follow. It's going to be followed by a steep correction. For me, if it was to be a more, you know, macro super cycle, then, you know, for me, it would probably reflect in a lot of the charts. Another thing I would actually say in support of the super cycle is if we actually look at the Bitcoin chart on the monthly time frame, you can see the trajectory of Bitcoin is becoming more shallow, or the the steepness of the rises are becoming, lower and lower as time continues. So you can see this arc, which shows you how, the Bitcoin cycle is maturing. It's not exponential. It's not, becoming exponential anymore. It's becoming more of a, gradual rise as opposed to a massive one over here. So it looks like the exponential nature of Bitcoin, the explosiveness of Bitcoin, is slowly subsiding. So it'll probably start to be more of a consolidation in a way, less explosive and more kind of controlled as time goes on. That's how it looks like if you look at it from a higher time frame. So in my opinion, that kind of supports the supercycle theory more as well. However, my strategy for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most of the other cryptocurrencies is to sell, a good 10 to 20% of my bags as price continues. Now I've got price targets for, the major cryptocurrencies, and for me, the leaders are gonna give me a gauge as to when we're getting close to the top. When I start to see exponential, increases in price with the big cryptocurrencies, the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum, I feel like the smaller cap coins will follow suit. So I've got price targets for the big coins. So my strategy is to keep about 70 to 8% of the major cryptocurrencies. As you can see here, I've got 70% here mapped out. So I'll be keeping about 30% on the table. And why is that? That is because in the event that Ethereum, after I sell 70%, goes absolutely parabolic, then, this is my suicide bag. I want to be in the game. I don't have to, jump off a cliff because I've sold all my crypto. And also, I want to keep a bag through the bear market because I do believe in the long-term potential. Now, the smaller cap coins, I'll probably be selling 100% of my stake, or maybe leave 5% on the table. But majority, I'll probably sell all of them, unless I'm super bullish on the project. Now, in terms of price targets for Ethereum, for example, I believe a conservative level for Ethereum would be about $5,000. So the closer we get to that, as you can see, I've got my price targets here. But the closer we get to that, the more, I'm going to sell. That's my North Star when it comes to Ethereum. And I'm going to be looking at the time scale as well. The closer we get to the end of the year, the more I'm going to be making sure I've locked in my profits, because I think this cycle will probably end from October to the end of the year, give or take. That's my time frame. I think that's when it's going to end. Of course, it can go further than that. It can go before that, but I want to secure most of my bags by that time. So for Ethereum, my target is 5k. And I think the rest of the market will follow suit with Ethereum. So the closer it gets to 5k, I think a lot of the other small caps will reach their peaks as well, or you're going to kind of close to their peaks. Moving over to Bitcoin, my target for Bitcoin is 100k. I think that's a conservative target for Bitcoin. We're only about 40k from there. It's not even another 100%. So I think 100k is my North Star when it comes to Bitcoin. Again, the closer we get to that level, the more I'm going to make sure to lock in my profits. Can it go way further, 150, 200, 250? Of course it can. That's why I'm going to leave about 20 to 30% of my Bitcoin holdings out there and leave that as my suicide bag. Again, the closer we get to that target, the more I'm going to make sure to lock in profits with all my smaller cap coins. That's the plan. Those two are going to be my North Star. They're going to kind of guide me in locking in profits, compounded with my kind of time target of October onwards. This is where I'm going to be, making sure that I've locked in my profits. If I take profits too early, I'm fine with that. You know, one of the biggest mistakes people made in the last bull run was leaving money on the tables. They rode the bull run to the top and then rode it all the way back down without taking profits. You know, that's why I'm gonna make sure to not make that mistakes and lock in profits early. So better to be early than to be late and you know, leave money on the table. So yeah, that's gonna be my main strategy, time frame, and then Bitcoin and Ethereum are my North Star. Now that we've spoken about that, just to answer the question again, do I think there's going to be super cycle? Definitely potential. I'm not banking on it. I'm banking on the fact I'm banking on it being a normal cycle and having a huge correction. If it ends up being a super cycle, you know, happy days. I'm not going to complain because I'm going to leave some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, and some leading altcoins 20%, 30% on the table. So I win either way. But I'm banking on it being a normal cycle. That's how I've laid out my strategy. Now let's finish off this video with looking at Cosmos. I've been covering this coin a lot. That's because it just continues to shine through. Now if you look at the actual coins on the Cosmos ecosystem, 30 days, look at the gains. Yeah, these are not shit coins, you know, these are actually strong projects. Actually I don't know, Sentable, Terra, Luna, cryptocoin.com, fetch.ai, Qcoin, Bluezell, Foam, OKB, Hard Protocol, Mirror, Akash, all strong projects. You can even look at the last 7 days. Some 94%, 64, 50, all strong projects. In the last video, I did talk about Atom. It was about to break out of a nice pattern, and it has done that beautifully, hitting my first target of $25. The next target will be to break all-time high and then hit $30. This is when I drew that trend line, when I put this in my private Telegram group and also in the previous market breakdown. Since broken out and hit that initial target. I think the rest of the altcoin market is also looking rather bullish. Even the likes of Kava, a nice handle, you know, nice U-shaped rounding bottom. It's rejected from the resistance at the moment, but in my opinion, it's looking bullish to go to the upside. So, and this is a crypto on, guess what? On the Cosmos ecosystem, as you can see here. Just to finish up on Bitcoin quickly, I do want to add, I'd mentioned this on my Instagram. Follow me on Magna Crypto, at Magna Crypto. And I did say the next cycle is starting now. We've just started it. The confirmation was in this weekly candle, in my opinion. And this is looking like a bullish candle as well. We had a massive retrace, but this buying pressure, this wick right here is showing this pressure, this demand is going to push it to the upside. So soon I think we're going to hit 64, 72 and 77. So be ready. If you haven't got your positions in once again, this is your last chance. That candle is looking quite bullish to me. That is all I want to say for this video. I hope you got some value from that, and see you in the next one. Peace.